everything to, okay. We are recording. Awesome. All right, sweet. So I'm going to share my desktop here. And there we go. So you can see that I'm at rightattack.org, and there's a text link right here that says 2013 Tax and Athlete Initiative. So I click that and it brings me to this page about the Tax and Athlete Initiative, and you can see, you know, all the past recipients. I finally got every single person that we've funded up there. So you can click on, look at it, there's Bill with his 4-star. And so you can see all that. And then to submit your application, you click that, submit application, and it brings you to this page. So so it kind of gives all the information. You can take your time to read all this stuff. But as soon as you're ready to apply, you're gonna obviously click apply. I'm gonna make a new one. Let's see. I'll try not to do too much typing because that's slow, but all right. So I am creating a new application here. And as I walk through this, I'm going to put just like X's in or whatever in each field, because to be able to submit it, you have to fill the fields out. Like, it won't let you submit without the fields being filled out. So you know, all this stuff is pretty basic. I'm just gonna put a few things in so that it's so it doesn't reject my application. So all this stuff, time, phone number, your diagnosis. So my diagnosis is FA. So, you know, you're obviously going to put whatever you're diagnosed with. If it's unknown, you put unknown. And one of the things that you have to submit separately from this, and we'll go over it a little bit later in an email after you finish, you're going to submit a note from your doctor, you know, confirming your diagnosis. So either, you know, for people with FA, you might even just submit the thing that you got from Athena that proves you have FA, or you might just call your doctor and say, hey, can you write me a brief note that just says that, you know, I have, you know, FA, SGA1, whatever, and I'm under your care. So that's what that is. The next thing is this radio button here. So none of the people on the call right now are from North Texas, but if there is anyone that's listening to this or watching this on YouTube and you're from North Texas, you can apply for this grant from the Texas Irish Cycling Group. And it's actually Texas Irish Cycling, I think it's a foundation. Anyway, they are providing a grant just for people in North Texas. So if you want to be eligible for that, then you click either yes or no there. So the next thing is your story. And this is a really important part of the application, because it's, I mean, it's how we know you, basically. I mean, the people on the panel aren't going to know you at all. except for this. That's one thing that's important to remember is this application is a representation of like everything you are and everything that you want to represent yourself as. And so keep that in mind. So for the story, you gotta be concise and to the point and very direct. And so kind of three things that I think we'd like to see is, you know, how how ataxia in general has affected you in your life, and how personally some adaptive cycling equipment might help you in your in dealing with this disease, how it's going to help you personally. I'm going to just go, I wrote a few notes myself, so. Also, we want to know what makes you unique, what makes you stand apart from all the other people that we get applications from. In the past, we've gotten like 16 applications, and we were able to fund, fortunately last year, about, I think we funded 7 people last year. And so there was 8 people that didn't get funded. And so in your story, you have to make it clear what sets you apart from everyone else, what makes you unique. And the next thing, I got to go back to my notes again here. So, you know, not only how this equipment would benefit you personally, but how you think that you might benefit the ataxia community, and maybe be an inspiration to other people by using the equipment. And so those are kind of the components that we want to see in your story. So in your experience level, it might even be a part of your story, but you're gonna click one of these, either new to the world of adaptive cycling or avid adaptive cyclist. You know, that just helps us understand what your experience is right off the bat. So coming down to the equipment request, we basically, one of the main things is that we want to know that you're going to put this equipment to use. And we really don't want to fund people that their equipment just sits in their garage. And so basically in this section, I want to know that you have researched the equipment, you know about it, you know that it's the best equipment for you. Maybe you've looked at several different pieces of equipment, but this one is the best one for you. So also there's a note down here. If you if you read this note here, it's probably clear that we work closely with Catrike for trikes and Top End for hand cycles. So there's quite a few different brands out there, but these are the 2 that we prefer because we get good prices and we work closely, and they treat us really well, and they'll treat you really well when you receive one. And so look at those 2 brands first. However, if there is a brand that a certain piece of equipment that really suits your needs really well, and it doesn't happen to be a Catrike or a Top End, I want you to tell me about it, tell us about it, and you know, if there are some really good reasons why you need this specific equipment, then that's what you need, you know? So that's kind of what the equipment request field is. So coming down to the itemized cost of your request, so you know, I put examples, cat track trail, $21.50. So that is the manufacturer's MSRP. What's that? Manufacturer suggested retail price, and you can just find that on like the cat track website or the Top End XLC Pro. You can find that price on their website. So whatever equipment you need, then you can list that and just look up the price for it. Also, Leland was saying that if she had cycling shoes, she could have gone a lot faster. I know for me, if I didn't wear cycling shoes with clip-in pedals, then I definitely would not even be able to keep my feet on the pedals. And so that's a super important thing. That, you know, that's another thing that tells us that you have done your research and you understand what it's going to take to make use of this machine. And so you know, you can research pedals, figure out which are the right ones for you, and stick them here, and just find out how much they cost, and list that stuff here, pedals and shoes and whatever else you think you might need. You know, and then it's up to the committee, our committee, our review committee, and talking to you, you know, about, well, we think, you know, we can fund you for this, but not for this, so we need your help to cover that. And so anyway, you can just list all this stuff, and we can make sure to address all of that. So that kind of brings me down to the next question is, so it says, Right Taxi has the option to distribute partial funding for grant requests in order to fund more athletes. So basically, you know, this equipment is not cheap. So sometimes we find that like, for example, last year, we had everybody pay like $200 to $400, and that allowed us to fund one more person. So so that's kind of what this is all about. And you know, this is a question that we ask just to get your initial kind of what works for you, and then you know, we'll talk to you about it afterwards. So anyway, that's something that helps us to understand your situation. So and then this stuff is straightforward. Are you currently employed? Are you currently a full-time student? So special financial circumstances, you can put that here, you know, whatever those might be, you can write all that stuff in here. So another thing, maybe not for the group that's on the phone, but for anyone who might be listening to this afterwards, you might be filling it out for a son or a daughter who is, you know, underage, or might be helping them out filling it out. So basically, you're going to be filling it out as if you were them. So, so anyway, that kind of relates to these two questions. So proof of the income in order to be considered for a grant. So all this stuff from here on out, I believe, is all income related stuff, and it just helps us get a picture of your financial situation so that we can make sure to, you know, one of the things we want to do is make sure we fund the people who have some of the highest financial need. Obviously, that is not the only factor in our decision, but it really helps us to figure out what the situation is for each person. So, you're going to fill. I'll go over this in a second, but the proof of income, you're going to choose one of these, and in a separate email after you're done filling this out. And we made it so that it reminds you like 100 times to do this, so that you'll send this email with your proof of income and the letters of reference. So we'll go over that again, but anyway, that's what that is there. So the main thing with the financial stuff is that you want all this stuff to reflect what's in your proof of income. So basically, if it says, if your W-2 or whatever you have says that you make, you know, like $2,000 a month or something. If the W-2 says that, but this spreadsheet says like $1,200, like that's a discrepancy. So that's the main thing, is just that you understand, and everyone understands that this is a representation of your financial proof, and that's basically why we require that everyone submit this stuff. It's so that when we're looking at these numbers, that it makes sense. That's the main thing here. I don't know if you guys have any questions regarding that. And actually, I realized that Leland can't even talk, so I'm gonna check the chat window real quick to make sure we're getting all these questions. Oh, there is something on the chat. Let's see. Can you put options? You know, so looking at, I think everyone can see my screen, so I'm looking at the chat window right now. And Terry asked if you can put options, and you know what, that's probably fine to include in the special financial situation, and we will definitely take a look at that. You know, you can just say in there like, hey, when I clicked this button, this is what I meant. You know, I could afford to pay whatever it is for equipment. So I hope that answers your question. And if anyone else has questions, you can either put them in here, or at the end we can all unmute ourselves and go through those questions. How many letters of reference? So you're going to need 2 letters of reference, and I believe that is outlined. You know what? I'll add it down here. Actually, here, let's submit this and see what it says. Because let's see. Oh, I see it probably has to be a number. So Leland, I'm not going to forget about your question about letters of reference, but so this is just a waiver and truth statement. You can, or you don't need to click this. It's not going to affect your application, the way that's your application. So you do need to initial here though, saying that you understand that any decision about all that stuff, you can read it. And then if anyone out there is filling this out for someone who's under 18, then the parent will put their name and their initials to confirm this waiver and truth statement. If you get, like, say you're working on your story and you're like, all right, I'm gonna sleep on it and figure out what to finish writing. Then you can save your application. You can save the changes. Everything will be there when and then you can either leave or you can continue. And then when you log back in, oh, here we go. There we go. So you log in again and then it should all be there. Log in. See all that really great information I put. So anyway, that's how it works. So you can work on it and then come back to it. And then when you're ready, we're not, and the review committee will not be able to see your application at all until you click submit. So if you save the changes and come back, like, no one's going to see it except you until you click submit. So I'm going to click submit. Actually, I'm going to intentionally leave something blank so that we can see what happens. All right. Oh, I messed up big time. So we gotta be in that. Okay. So anyway, you get the idea. It'll prompt you if you forgot to put something in. We'll see if it prompts me again, because your address is required. All right, let's see if that works. See, this application is smart. 2 to 3 paragraphs out. I think there's a word count on it, so let's trying to trick the machine here. All right, come on, submit application. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So this is confirming your submission. Will no longer be permitted to change any information. And so I say yes, lock it down, final answer. So you're going to get a confirmation email to send your proof of income, reference letters, and any additional information. So I'm going to check my email here. Going to look at all my interesting emails. All of them are from Felicia. Come on. All right. We'll come back to that anyway. So coming back to Leland's question, how many letters? So down here on this page, it says 3 reference letters. So you'll get one from your doctor confirming your diagnosis, and then 2 of them will come from, let's see, hold on. Two letters will come from either like a coach or a parent or a family member or a friend, a teacher, a community member that can attest to your character. That's kind of what the letter is all about, is kind of telling how awesome you are as a person, and how you affect other people, and how this equipment is going to help you build your character and affect more and more people in a positive way. So 1 letter from your doctor, and then 2 from like a teacher or a coach or a fellow athlete or somebody in the community. So I'm going to check the chat window again here. 1981, yeah, no, I'm 31 years old. Yeah. So that's the application. I hope that you guys thought that was helpful. Does anyone else have any other questions? One thing that I didn't say in the beginning is kind of the purpose for this this program, and it's a very personal thing for me, because we were all diagnosed with this thing, so everyone on the phone and everyone listening to this understands how it feels to be diagnosed totally helpless. And so I started riding my trike, and it gave me a complete feeling of empowerment, and it was just amazing. And so I bought my first trike with a loan from my dad. And then I decided I wanted to go further and faster, so I applied to the Challenge Athletes Foundation, and they gave me a grant to buy my second trike, and that trike allowed me to complete Race Across America, and I rode it tonight, that same trike that CAF gave me a grant for, and so this, you guys know that this equipment is oftentimes cost prohibitive, and so this program is to kind of spread that feeling of empowerment that I got when I first started riding my trike, and to kind of get over that hurdle of the financial stuff, the cost prohibitive financial situation. And so that's what this program is all about, is empowering everyone to get active. So all right, I'm going to check the chat thing. And you guys can unmute yourself too, so we can actually have a conversation instead of me just talking everybody's ear off. So. Oh, nice. Okay, so Terry asks, he says, I know nothing of adaptive cycling or trikes. How do you transport it? And that's a really good question, because cat trikes, they don't fold up, and mainly that's because it improves performance if they don't have a weak spot of the folding and all that. So anyway, I put mine in my van. I used to have a pickup truck, and so I'd lift it into the pickup truck. But I put my trike into something as small as a PT Cruiser. I know if I've got a friend who he can fit 2 trikes in his Volkswagen Golf. So so they are pretty big, but they'll fit in a lot more vehicles than you might imagine. For me, like storing mine, I keep mine in the parking garage, chained up to a little fence down there, because partly it's, well, I mean, I would have a place to keep it in my apartment, but taking it into the elevator and transporting it down every day to go on a ride would be tough. So that's a good question. These are kind of the things that you have to think about, like, do I have a place to store it that will be easy access? So if I want to go on a ride, like, I don't need to, like, call someone, or, and you know what, maybe that's part of the plan though too, is that, okay, if I want to go for the ride, I gotta plan a day ahead, because I'm gonna have to call a friend to help me out with it and get on it and make sure I'm good to go. So, you know, those are kind of the few things to think about. So. So what do you guys think? Was this even helpful?
Yeah. Have you, because there's place on the form where you ask what country, have you given math abroad before?
We have not, but I would love to. We've had applicants. I think we had an applicant from New Zealand the first year, and so we definitely consider them the same as somebody from the U.S. I know for a fact that Cat Trike can ship anywhere in the world, and I'm assuming that Top End can do the same too. We haven't had a situation where we've needed to, but that's definitely something we can do.
Cool.
No, I think it was great. I just really would like to get into cycling, just to have something to keep me active. However, I'm like old, so I'm like 37. So what are my odds? Oh, it's pretty old.
Age is a number, right?
I guess.
Just real quick, you know, I showed you that guy Bill that was on the Top End Force R, and he's in his 50s, and he's competing in marathons on his 4SAR, and he's coming in like 4th and 5th in these marathons. Shoot, he might even have a 3rd place finish this year among all these kids on hand cycles and stuff. But he is just a monster on his hand cycle, and I mean, like I said, I believe he's in his 50s, and so you're definitely not too old for this.
Okay. Okay.
I've already filled out my application, but this told me that I need to tweak it quite a bit.
Cool. Awesome. So, maybe I'll reemphasize the equipment request part 2. You know, I really think something that sets one application off from another is if someone has actually gone, I mean, sometimes a trike dealer or a hand cycle dealer is like, you know, 3-4 hours away. But if somebody made that effort to go try out some equipment and, you know, to figure out exactly what's going to work for them, and, you know, describe it really well and figure that out, like that's one of the things that really sets an application apart from another one. So just to reemphasize that part of the application, the equipment request. So, and if you guys need suggestions on where to go, so I'm gonna to like either try a trike or a hand cycle. I'm gonna share my desktop again if I can figure out. Here we go. So go to I know for cat trikes they have this cool thing on their website. Go to cattrike.com. There I am, and click on this button that says Dealers, and it gives a map of where all their dealers are, and their dealers are kind of ranked a little bit, and so you can see like if you find a store like one of these concept stores, if you find them, they're going to have all the different models of cat trike in stock, or they should. And so you can go there and try out any different model, and then it goes down from there. A gold will have some, but not all, and then, you know, bronze dealers, they can get cat trikes, but they don't necessarily have any in stock. For sure. So anyway, you can look there and find that. And for Terry, I believe this is even an international map. So there's a couple in Australia right there. Where are those? Those look like gold ones too. So anyway, that might be a little far from you, but that kind of gives you an idea. And you know, if you have any questions or concerns about trying to find a place to try to hand cycle, a good reference for hand cycles is a website called oh shoot. Might be called Bicon. Or shoot, oh my gosh. Let's see. Here it is. Yep, bicon.com. that is probably a good place to go to look at hand cycles. And I've heard you can also just call them if you want, and they can give you advice on, you know, what to look at and where to find it and all that stuff. So, yeah, bikeon.com. So. Dealers near Tampa. So Leland is asking about dealers near Tampa, and so hold on. Okay. Her first question is, when do the grants get distributed? So the application deadline is going to be July 1st, and then we are going to make our decisions. We're going to take the whole month of July for our review, and then we will announce our decisions on August 1st, and then we'll order the equipment and have it distributed starting in August. So, you know, if somebody, whoever gets awarded the grants, they could see their equipment like the third week in August, probably. So that's the sort of time frame. You know, don't hold me to a specific date, but that's the time frame that we're looking at. And so Leon also says that one of last year's recipients didn't get their track until March, and that's true. I believe you're talking about Lauren Williams, and so that was sort of a special situation that I worked with Lauren to make sure that she had a place to store it and all that stuff, and it worked out finally, you know, to get her equipment. So it's just a matter of working with each person to make sure it's a good situation that we can get the equipment to them where they need it and stuff. And then Leland's third question is, have you been to any dealers near Tampa? And so I think there are a few in Tampa, but anytime I'm in Tampa, I go to Orlando because the Catrike factory is in Orlando. So they're really awesome, the Catrike folks, and they treat the FAA community like kings and queens. And so if you're in the Florida area, let me know, and I'll give them a heads up that you might be coming around and meet those guys down there. And they can either have you come by the factory, or they can let you know where to go, either in Tampa or Orlando or wherever down there. So. So, do anyone else have questions?
No,
I don't.
All right, cool. Well, it's 7:52 right now, 53, excuse me, and so maybe we'll end a few minutes early. But also email me at any time if you have questions or comments about the application or about life in general. So thank you guys so much for being on the call, and this will be available online to review it if you ever want to. And I'm also gonna do another live one on June 1st. So anyway, you guys have a little bit of time to kind of schedule an appointment or go look at trikes and get lots of good info to make your application as competitive as possible. So that's it.
Yeah, thank you.
You are welcome. Thank you guys. One last question here. How many grants did you give out last year? We gave out 7 grants last year. We funded 7 different people. And like I mentioned before that it was a situation where we asked everyone to pay between like $250 and like $500, and that allowed us to fund 1 more person. So that's kind of how that works. But it is a good point though too that, you know, there will be, I don't know, who knows, like 16 or 20 applications, and depending on the funding, we're working with some awesome partners on this that have been by our sites for a few years. So depending on the funding and the requests that we get, you know, sometimes our first choice might be someone who is requesting a $5,000 piece of equipment, and sometimes there's a bunch of people that are requesting $2,000 pieces of equipment. So it just kind of it depends on what our funds are and what the requests are, depending on how many people we're able to fund. So last year was the biggest one so far. We funded 7 people, and you know, we're hoping to be able to do that again this year, but it just kind of depends on how the budget all works out. So. Yeah. All right. Well, with that, I believe you guys all have my email, so if you have any further questions, feel free to email me. But thank you for being on the call, and I will talk to you soon.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Kyle.
Bye.
Bye-bye.